And we're back with the question and answer session with Darj and Execute, or as we've been calling it, After Dark. But because we've got Darj here, it's After Darj.
Why has he got porn lighting all of a sudden?
Because it's After Darj.
Oh, hang on. I could probably do that.
Dim it. I can't, because if I do what I want to do, which is turn this off, this front light off, it doesn't change the actual atmosphere. It just makes me dark. I just turned into dark, man. Doesn't change any of the lighting.
Hey, Google, turn off streamlights.
Hey Google,
there we
turn
go.
on porn lights.
Oh no, but now I've just got a green screen.
Yeah.
Hey Google, turn on streamlights. Hey Google, turn on streamlights.
Sorry, I don't understand.
Oh my God, Google, you embarrassed me. Hey Google, turn on streamlights.
All right.
There we go. All right.
Hey Google, make the lights white.
There we go. All right. So, anywho, this is our question and answer session where we talked about the preview for Ship Showdown. What's wrong with Ship Showdown in terms of its functionality, and of course, what ships do we think we're going to make the Ship Showdown this year? These are we're taking questions from the audience specifically about this stuff. We're going to jump right back in. But actually, before we jump right in, make sure you check out the show that we just did. It'll be above Darj's head. You can click that link and you'll go straight to that show.
Oh, damn it, you keep doing that. It's scary.
While you're eating, it's intentional. The first question is from Gin and Tonic, who asks, why is there so much emotional investment in a dumb fluff marketing event? I can explain.
Money.
I can explain. People are super invested in their ships being special. And yeah, money. If you spend a lot of money on a ship, you want that ship to give you as much value as possible. So people are super passionate about certain ships. I have basically turned off from the event because when I did the push for the MPUV and when we had the MPUV win, I thought it was engaging and fun because we made people root for an underdog, and I was like, yeah, let's do it. And it got people engaged because that's really supposed to be. It's supposed to be engaging people, getting people excited and invested. And now I've been completely tuned out since then. Because it just hasn't felt the same. But as Execute said, money. It's money, and it's people get invested and wrapped up in things like that. So, Gin and Tonic then asks, Team Idris or Team Polaris? I'm gonna be the contrarian and say Polaris, because I think people will want the Idris to win because it's just a better ship. But I will fight for the Polaris because it's a Corvette.
We talked about this yesterday.
I would be on the Polaris bandwagon with you if it had the word that Execute dislikes, variance.
Variance,
like something that wasn't a torpedo boat. Same chassis, but it did something else well.
You want the Galaxy?
Shoehorned, yeah.
You want the Galaxy?
Basically the Galaxy, yeah. Basically the Galaxy. But I said, like, way before Polaris came out, I would love to see like a civilian retrofit Polaris, like just replace everything inside with non-torpedo based.
People have been asking for a civilian Polaris since the Polaris was announced. So, civilian.
See, S5 ships are the rarest group of ships in the entire game. There is only 3 of them. There is the Odyssey, the Polaris, and the Reclaimer. Everything else is either side of that. It's really strange.
Yeah.
So we do need a lot more Corvettes. And I'm hoping we'll see a lot more of them down the pipe. But I can get behind that, Daj. Like something that's on a gunboat would be great. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, for anybody who starts calling out, the 890 is in the same category as the Idris, and the Polaris, the Perseus, and the Hammerhead are below Corvette. I know CIG calls them Corvettes, but their own classification system doesn't call them Corvettes because CIG doesn't actually have good classification.
They don't know it either because John Crew was literally calling the Ironclad a Corvette, and it ain't a Corvette.
Yeah.
It is an S4, not an S5. So yeah,
They
don't know their own terminology.
They're gunboats, so
Yeah.
they're large ships, and they're not capital ships. And then the S5s are the like X said, the Reclaimer, the Polaris, and the Odyssey. And then the Carrack is the same size as the Hammerhead. It's a little bit bigger than the Hammerhead. It's an S4.
Yes, the Carrack is the largest because it's 26 meters, and the hangar bay will only take 128.
Yeah,
it's literally the largest of those ships. Yeah.
I just realized I want a food delivery Polaris so it can shoot size 9 hot dogs and torpedo burritos out its tubes in front.
The Buster variant is what you want.
Yes, Buster the Destroyer. Dystrophic says, I thought the Perseus was dubbed the Capship Destroyer. No, Subcap Slayer is what it was dubbed. Subcap Slayer. It's designed to punch sideways and down. One size. It's a size 4, which can punch an S4, which can punch an S3, and an S2 to a degree, but like S4, S3, and S2. It's not designed to hit S1s, which are the fighters and small ships. So,
yeah, that's the Hammerhead job.
All right. Steve that answer asks, do you think Crusader needs more ships? Honestly, no.
Yes.
I don't think Crusader does. Crusader has plenty of ships. It has They
don't have a starter. They have an advanced starter, but they don't have a starter.
Well, no, not many people have starters. There's only 3 starters in the game. All the rest of them are advanced. CIG still calls it advanced. Calls it a starter. The Intrepid is still a starter.
Intrepid.
Yeah.
Okay. I would call
I
it
hate
an advanced
it because
starter.
it looks ugly.
But,
it's very functional, but oh god, is that that is something straight out of a Drake design school.
I agree. It is an advanced starter because the Titan's an advanced starter too. Yeah. But like,
so with the Golem coming along though, I think you can now say that some of those starters that we're going to get are going to be industrial based. So essentially, you've got the Cutter and you've got the Golem both from Drake, and I would say the Golem is the advanced starter and the Cutter is the normal starter.
Yeah, I can see that. But it's the Cutter. The Golem is not really an advanced starter as much as it's a specific starter. It's a specialized starter.
Yeah, well, again, it's the first of its type, you know. Yeah. But we know the RSI one's coming, so obviously, well, it's you kind of called this yourself years ago, and I thought you were fucking crazy at the time.
Yeah.
I remember sitting there arguing about the Vulcan, and I said, why the fuck would they make a smaller Vulcan? And now I think you're absolutely correct. Now the Golem's come along, I can totally see it.
But it's not going to be a smaller Vulcan. As I said, it's going to be like a repair. There's going to be a repair ship. There's going to be a rearm ship, and there's going to be a refueling ship. Because I always knew that they were going to.
Yeah. You know what I mean?
They have to split them up. Yeah.
They split it up, but it is like it might be 1 drone instead of 2.
But outside the starter, you've got the Intrepid, you've got the Starfighter, you got the Ares, you've got the Spirit, you've got the MSR, and you've got the Hercules, and then you also have the Genesis. So you've got 6 ships, whereas the Consolidated Outland has 3, 4 if you count the Pioneer.
What about the bigger ships from Crusader?
There's the bigger ship is the Genesis, the Hercules and Genesis. I think the Genesis is bigger than the Hercules.
That essentially gets you to Carrack size. Where's the S5? Where's the S6?
We don't. Not every ship manufacturer needs an S5 and S6.
I think they do. I think everyone needs at least one really big one.
The Anvil doesn't have S5 or S6 either. So
I reckon that's episode 2, episode 3. I think that's what they're saving it for. Because again, in lore, Aegis is the older military manufacturer, Anvil's the new hot dog. So if you're having episode 2 and 3, there's where they're coming out.
But I think the biggest manufacturer is Kruger and Consolidated Outland. They're the ones who need it. Oh, is that the girl?
This is the girl.
Yeah.
There's also the same thing. Notice how there's not a lot of Drake fighters.
Yeah.
There's no medium Drake fighter. There's no Drake heavy fighter. I think they're coming in episode 2 as well. Okay. I think there's a lot like, and again, now we got the Ares. Why wouldn't we get more fighters from Crusader? It's the same thing from Consolidated Outland. Why, like those ships? That's what they're coming in episode 2 and episode 3. A lot of those smaller ships. That's where they're coming.
Because people don't know that, like the Mustang's in Squadron. For those of you who don't know, the Mustang is a huge part of Squadron.
It's OMC, right?
Yeah.
OMC has it as their.
It's one of their craft, and it's also a common the defense craft for the Archon Station. Like they fly alphas and deltas. You can see them in some of the background shots of them flying around. So it's not spoilers. These are literally in the freaking videos you can watch.
Yeah.
They also did that entire sneak peek thing as well.
Yeah.
That had it in it.
Yeah. Execute. So that cat being an orange, how much of a dumbass is she?
Actually, she's quite smart. Yeah, quite smart. She's just very clingy. Yeah, very clingy.
I would say, Darj, I've asked Execute this question before, and I've decided that all of the orange cat's brain cells are now are currently residing inside Execute's cat. She is just
all the shared ones. Yeah.
No, she has all of them at all times.
I've never found orange ginger cats to be dumb. I don't know where that comes from.
Oh God, a friend of mine has it, and every time I visit,
be a Northern Hemisphere thing,
as if he's the first. He's seen me for the first time, and then he will eventually. When we're outside, he starts chasing something up a tree. Will almost habitually fall out of said tree onto my car.
Again, if they are as dumb as people you're saying they are, I'd still take that because they're friendlier than other cats.
They love you.
Yeah.
And the joke about I have a black cat and a tuxedo cat, and the joke is that the black cats and tuxedo cats are just burnt oranges because like my cat Jack, he loves everyone, and you hold him, you get near him, you sit near him, he will start purring. He'll just purr like crazy,
Yeah, that's her. Yeah.
Anyway, what were we talking about?
We were talking about Crusader ships, but we'll move on.
What they need to give us is a player flyable shuttle. I don't know where you're gonna stick the cockpit, but
I think isn't that what the Spirit was inspired by though?
Yes,
they made the Spirit after everyone wanted that shuttle.
Yeah, that was
going to be the E1.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right?
That was
technically
that's where they got the lore for the whole thing, was because they wanted a shuttle. They wanted a shuttle, and they wanted the shuttle, and so the developers said, "Let's make the shuttle," but then we need to actually make it work. And so the lore team just literally said that the Spirit's based off of an old Seraphim Systems shuttle that they've updated. So, all right, next question comes from Steve the Answer, who asks, do you think the Reclaimer will get a rework by next year? Absolutely not. Absolutely
it needs it, but not next year. Yeah, not next year.
That is a post 1.0 update that we're going to get for that thing.
Yeah, I'd agree.
Maybe next year, but not by next year.
We will get a duct tape fix for that thing, so that
the whole reason why that was made when it was made was because of Squadron.
Yeah,
you remember Squadron dictates everything.
Yeah, that's why the Starfarer was made when it was made, even though the interior was an FPS. That's why the interior is an FPS level, because it was for Squadron.
Yep. Yeah,
so
absolutely.
And this was before they had landing on planets, so any FPS levels were going to have to be on ships or stations.
Be on ships, you're right. Yeah. Oh god, yeah.
So, Steve that answer asks, or yes, that one. Gin and Tonic asks, with the ICT and the ICT Geo in game, but not available except through Wicklow, should they be included or not? That's a question. Because I don't think the Geos do have the ETLSs do have the skin capabilities. So,
but they won't be able to sell it. So marketing will say no.
Yes, that's true. They'll probably get a veto because they can't sell them. So
yeah.
Because the only way you get the skins, for those you don't know, if you, for instance, let's just say pie in the sky, that's going to happen, not going to happen. But let's just say the Spirit wins this year. If you have a Spirit in game, you don't get a free skin. Only if you own it through the store do you get that free skin. So it's all about that, it's all about the sales. I wish it would be, but it could be that they if it won, they would decide to sell it, but I don't think they'll decide to sell it because I think that's one pushback that the gameplay team wants to push on it. So, but in theory, if the ATLS won, you could also use the skin from an ATLS on a ICT. So, you know,
yes, that's how you'd go about it, wouldn't
Yeah.
you? Yeah, you just go vote for the ATLS or the ICTY, and let's just make it simple. Just vote for the ATLS.
yeah, because the ATLS, the
Yeah.
skins for the
Yeah.
ATLS will also work on the Geo and
Yep.
and so
And they as they do already.
yeah. So,
Mm.
Yep. Shimpasta asks, release the Kraken? It's in development right now, isn't it?
Reproduction or reconcept at the end of the year, they said.
Yeah.
Concept, yeah.
Yeah.
Which means that it's probably beginning its process of getting done.
Daj, when can I buy my model of the Kraken? No fucking pressure, bro.
Daj, do you want to tell them about the scaling?
Yeah, well,
No.
I want it 1-to-1 scale, please. That'd be great. Yeah.
Even the Carrick scale, which is like 1 to 500, that thing is the size of my monitor. It's huge.
Just make it $1,000, man. People are paying $2,000 for a virtual spaceship. They'll pay $2,000 for a real model.
It would be bigger than a coffee table. That thing would be like it's the size of a like a dining room table.
I think you'd want to make it as big as like a really long keyboard, so like maybe 2 foot or something like that.
Yeah, that's a scale they don't have though. That's like a
yeah.
that would be like a 1 to 1,000 scale or something like that. So
Yeah, it would be.
Yeah, obviously.
We actually may have to start introduce that.
Other scalings.
Other scales, especially on the lower side. Like, I want to make the pulse, but the pulse doesn't work in 1 to 40.
Can I give you a cool idea I had for it? I haven't shared you this, I'll just do it here so you can feel free to shoot me down. But imagine you could like pull it in half, and it literally shows all the interior, like it's a schematic.
That's my plan for the address. Yeah.
Oh, sweet.
floors.
Yeah. Oh, man, that'd be awesome. Yeah. That's cool. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, and that's gonna be 4 figures if we ever actually get it off the ground.
It's gonna be what is it? The Titan, the GW Titan walkers. Yeah. Which you can get from Games Workshop for like $2,000, and like the foot is half the size of a table, of a regular GW gaming table.
I tell you something I would also buy that might be a bit easy to do that would look cool. I don't know if this is a cool idea. Feel free to shoot me down again. An Atlas, but with a person in it that's like an action figure.
It'd be like a 1 to 40 though, right?
Yeah. So if you could somehow
you didn't see the ones we were distributing to CIG personnel at CitizenCon, did you? Then
no, I must have missed it.
No, I must have missed it. Inside.
Of course, you didn't give me one, you son of a bitch. No, that's fine.
They're only that top. They're not that big.
Yeah.
I thought they were a little bit bigger.
I'm talking like
you want like a 1 to 20 scale, like
like when you were a kid, the 7-inch tall ones. Yeah, like the 7-inch tall ones, like this big.
So that would be
like an action figure.
It have to be a 1 to 20. Then, yeah, I guess.
Because the other thing is, normal people would see that and they'd want to buy one because they'd think it would be the thing from Aliens.
Yeah, you probably wouldn't want it to be articulated just because that never looks good in terms of joints for the person.
Yeah. Okay. Again, as long as it looks cool and you can put it in a cool stance, that's what you want.
Yeah. The one I have, the one I made, actually should probably just get it.
And maybe even if you had like
you showed it to me.
Put the different attachments on it, like the backpack and stuff like that. That'd be kind of cool.
I mean,
the one I made,
orange.
It was still just one. It was still just a standard one, and then when the Geo came out, they came out with some updates to the geometry, and when they added the backpack. But I've been fiddling with it. Yeah, it actually has 2 different backpacks, one for the regular, one for the Geo, so you can just swap them out, and then you have a Geo. Then
just sell a kit with an ICTY upgrade. So you can buy like a $5 or $10 upgrade that can come with it, which just puts on the guns.
Just do a regular and then a Geo upgrade and then ICTY upgrade. Sure.
Yeah.
Still want someone to take the prices into. You know the Raspberry Pi. You know what the Raspberry Pi is? Those little. I want someone to take a Pisces and turn it into a Raspberry Pi case. Pisces.
Raspberry Pisces. Oh,
yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right,
I think that would be great.
Because we do have, and it's been showed off, a 1 to 100 Pisces.
I have one.
That 1 to
Didn't you?
100.
Oh, 1 to 100, not 1 to 500. Yeah, I have the 500.
1 to 500 comes with the carry. Yeah, 500 is that big. The 1 to 100 is big,
big.
and the top comes off.
Nice.
And you have the fully modeled interior, and I need to get JR to send me stuff, or to just start making it on my own again. Yeah.
Next question. I'll start with you on this one, Darsh. When do you think engineering will come
in? Can't see shit, Captain, to use the Geordie meme. Because he's an engineer.
Yeah.
I know you got it. Just for people in chat. God. It's not needed for Squadron, is it?
No.
It's
no. Purely Star
No,
Citizen.
but it would be needed for base building. I think it'll come in with base building as a single unit, just because so it's not going to be like a ship that's the first thing that gets it, but it will be buildings that you set up that will start where they start you familiarizing yourself with with all the setup with the relays and everything.
Yeah.
But in terms of when, oh God, I don't know what's taking them, because they had several functioning prototypes, and you had the PTU previews that worked fine last time. The one I played.
I think they're making it more player friendly.
Yeah.
If that makes sense. I think they're making it less
if it's a UI
and more.
It's a UI thing.
No, I don't. I think it's not just UI. I think it's a little bit all across the top. And again, as you've kind of said, you didn't say it directly, but like engineering is tied to base building in such a way that there's many moving parts to base building. And I think that they just kind of want to get it a little bit more polished before they kind of release it, because they know when it lands, it's going to land in such a large way that they're going to have an influx of people coming into the game.
That as well, but if they release engineering for ships now, and then they realize they need to keep updating it for base building, they people are gonna start getting used to what it is like for ships, and then changes are gonna come in that are required, and people are just gonna start people are gonna be pissed whenever they put out.
It's just a matter. It's a matter of resources. I think what they'll do,
just like with master modes.
Yeah,
they don't want a repeat of master modes because they are backpedaling on them, right?
Yes, they have. With engineering, they said specifically they've broken it up into several different parts. So my guess is that engineering for ships and stations, or for ships, are going to be different from stations, which is going to be different from bases. So I think that they're basically taking what they had and they're breaking it up into different chunks, and they're probably going to be different engineering types for small ships versus large multi-crew ships. So
agreed.
Especially when you have like capital ships with components you can't remove. Like, what are you going to do in terms of engineering when those break? Like, you can only replace the subcomponents, and then it just magically works again?
Yeah.
So a ship is essentially becoming a bespoke room, is what they're becoming. Because like one of the things, I was not to call Grim out, but I am going to call him out because he didn't turn up today. Is he was talking about how he reckons they're going to make the Expanse because they need it for refining. And my brain and Algrid's brain, when I asked Algrid about it, we went completely the other way. We're like, why the hell would you go the whole effort of making the Expanse when you literally already have them in game right now as rooms?
Yeah.
So all you have to do is make them functional. We know they have mining rooms, like those big drill things. They have so all you have to do is activate them. And again, his response when I said that was no, because you've got to be able to go. You've got to get the materials to be able to build the room. Well, that's why you got to go to the station. It sucks at the start because you got to go to the station, but then once you've got all the materials, you can that will be the first room you build is your mining and refining, and then you can build it all yourself.
Yeah, I get it. I think what they'll probably end up doing is they're going to do small ships and big and like multi-crew ships, release those functionality for those two soon. And then capital ships after that, and then bases after that. And I think just fundamentally as a gameplay loop, and we can think of this as in terms of like how CIG, like the difference between FPS scanning and ship scanning. We know that those are both based off the same basic foundation, but they're two different things. And so I think
what I mean,
we're gonna have the same thing.
What I mean is, but if you think about it though, if you've got to build a new room, right, a new gameplay feature, you've only got to build the internals of that room, because it slots into the external area of another ship. But when you build a ship, you've got to build the whole exterior and the interior. You know what I mean? So it just speeds it up, is what I'm trying to say. So yeah.
No, I get what you're saying. What you're saying is that the expanse
like actually just geometry, but I think actually just geometry is the least complex thing that you have to do when it comes to making the functionality is completely different, because the entire ship, the way it functions, has to be overhauled.
Yes, but
so many ships.
But every room, like, put it this way, most ships have multiple functions. A room has its bare bones function. It is just that room. The lights are got to turn on. It's got to do that one little function. Because if you want another function, you go to the next room over.
So you're arguing that we're not going to see engineering. You're arguing that we're not going to see ships get engineering first. We're going to get the base building first because it's simpler.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying. And like, why would you, once base building is out, why the hell would you go the whole thing of building whatever shiv to do this one function when you can test the water?
You're still on the
in
expanse.
A building.
You're still talking about the expanse.
I'm giving that as an example, right?
Okay.
Because it works. But I'm talking about any gameplay feature, right? Why would you put it into a ship when it's untested, when you can put it into a building, and if that goes wrong and they have to change it, they just remove that one room and make a new room. And then once it works, they can then put it in a ship and they know it's going to work.
But
that makes sense.
It allows them to test the water in game with the public, make sure it works, and then build a whole ship around that feature.
They do have that right now. They call them zoos. But you want player-facing zoos.
Yeah.
Basically turn a zoo into a gameplay feature rather than build a brand new ship. I don't think that's going to be the case with engineering, though, because engineering is such a fundamental part of the game. I think it's less of a we're going to get this feature out to test it, because they already have the basic features that connect that for engineering in the game. It's resource management. The resource system is in the game. That's why it works now.
There is some already in.
Yeah.
There is some already in. Like, I was in the Asgard, right? I had a really interesting experience, right? And I wish I'd recorded it because it was so cool. Well, it was negative, but it felt cool. And I'll explain. So I went out on it was actually in the review. We went out in the Asgard and I got attacked by, I thought I was flying in a random space, but I actually flew past a security post and they shot the shit out of the ship and it went to absolute shit. There was red lights going off, everything. Anyway, after the review was over, I walked back and the ship was so damaged that when I got back to the main planet, it just totally turned off. And what it turned out it was one of the fuses is gone. And I actually went and picked up one of the fuses from the gun area, walked to the engine area, put it in, and the guns went offline, but the engines came back on. And I went, that is so cool. Just being able to, it was essentially rerouting, like in Star, rerouting through the engines, whatever. Yeah. And I was like, that was just such a cool moment. And I was like, so basic engineering is already kind of there. Like, and that's why they're doing it with the fuses. But again, Pissball Pete said in chat as well, Tier 0 is those repair messaging, those basic repair missions and basic salvage missions. They are all in there because repair and salvage are just opposites of each other. So Tier 0 is there. It's just getting those systems to essentially talk to each other now and pulling components out and repairing the components. That's the big one.
So would you say it's part of like the shadow updates, that patch notes that they don't announce?
Yeah.
They slowly drip fitting and seeing how stable it is, and then once they actually turn it on, they will put it in the patch notes.
And I think,
well, again, coming back to base building, we already know buildings have fuses as well, right? So they're all, but it's essentially what you're explaining is repairing rooms, because repairing a ship is the same as repairing a room. So once you understand how all integrated and modular the system is, right, it just makes so much sense to do it all in one. They're essentially, it's almost like metrics. But they're making it modular and click, making Lego.
Another thing that's part of the engineering bit is like the overview for rooms and people inside, and that kind of
Yes.
already works with the
Yep.
mini map, like
Mhm.
because
Mhm.
we were on a play session on Idris, and somebody was just checking out
Yep.
the map of the address, and you could see people walking around, doors
Yep.
opening, and everything. So yeah, that part of the
Mm.
functionality is all in. So all they have to do is put that on a screen and give you controls, so you can
Which
That's it.
open
which
and
is what
close.
they've
Yeah.
been doing. The monthly reports have been talked about how basically what they've been doing with engineering since the beginning of the year is working on those overlays, trying to make it more
Yeah.
easier, trying to make things like more functional, more
Less complicated.
yeah.
Mm. But Squadron 42, to answer the prisoner's question, is it may have the fundamentals of engineering in the back end, but the player facing stuff on the ship you are on, I don't think that will be in the game, just because as as a fighter pilot, you don't usually repair your ship in mid space.
Yeah.
You don't have the facilities for it.
Yeah.
You limp it back to the carrier and
Yeah.
have the deck crew
It'd be
address it.
more
Unless
like
it's
a
actually, it would be a very cool part of the actual story. Like you get stranded and you have to scrounge
Yeah.
up resources and a multi-tool to fix that damn thing. That
I
would
was going to
actually be
say
cool, but I don't
something
see
like
it coming.
like a puzzle with fuses or something, like you
Yeah.
got to move the fuses around in a certain
Yeah,
order to get things to go on, and then others go off, and
Yeah, that's
at
that's
the location.
guaranteed. Like that's guaranteed.
Yeah, at the
but
location, but that's more like Executor was saying. Like you
a
start
puzzle.
off with base building sort of engineering, but the ship stuff, it's going to be because you're not supposed to be the person fixing things. So
No.
so I don't think they're going to focus on it.
The resource system, the resource network is in the game, and that comes from Squadron. The stuff that's the basis of engineering that comes from Squadron. So we know it's already there, like power level changes and like the little blips now instead of the triangle. That's a Squadron change. So like we know that some of this stuff is Squadron based, but engineering in Squadron, no, not at all. We're not going to see like complex engineering. It's going to be like rerouting power here so I can open this door, or to fix this puzzle or something like that. It's all going to be puzzles for that sort of thing. So.
But you're not going to be taking Morrow's job.
No.
Do you remember that video they had at CitizenCon where they were talking about how they're going to add so many more locations, and they had all those circles and all that shit, and they're going, we're going to add like 3,000 locations to wherever or whatever. Yeah. That's all after base building. Once this system is in, it's just going to allow them to roll out at a much faster pace.
Yeah.
There's no need to be as bespoke as they've been, because they can do it, a lot of it, like put together.
They can just take their own palette.
Functional.
Yeah, they can take their own palette and just paint it.
Why would you roll something out when you know that if something goes wrong, you go back and redo it all again?
Yeah.
So they're going to have all the rooms functioning with the gameplay, etc., like that. So you can then go build a mining base, and the mining part of it will actually work as a mine. You've seen the concepts that they want to do. They want to have like big plant habitats. They want to have those big lasers boring in the ground and all that. Yeah. You can see the plan. Like you need that stuff for an MMO. You don't need it for Squadron, though.
No.
Yeah.
And as Darsh said, everything is Squadron. Squadron is the most important. You said as well. The Squadron is the most important thing right now. So that's why everything is focused on it.
Yeah.
Atzilla asks, if the Gladiator wins, which terrible shade of purple will CIG choose the skin?
Indigo.
Yes, indigo.
That's an interesting question.
It'll be a vomit light. What's up?
What color do you guys want? What color do you guys want?
We've had purple too much.
Yeah.
Well, that was because they were lazy. That was obvious what that was.
I don't want it. I don't want it to turn political, so don't do it political. But I want a blue and gold.
Blue gold could work. I think that's more of an Invictus color.
How's that political? Is that like Swedish or something? Like I'm trying to. Blue and gold. No. Netherlands? Oh, Ukraine. Oh, Ukraine. Right.
Yes.
Yeah, I got it.
Yeah, that's why I don't want to go political.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's also the
that's
colors
good.
of the UE Navy. Blue,
Yeah,
blue,
true,
gold, black, and
true.
red are the four colors of the UE Navy. So,
I think there's a lot of colors they
Red.
haven't done, like green hasn't been done.
it has,
A
but
military
it's
green would.
but yeah,
A military green, like a squadron green, would be really cool, and maybe do that next
Burnt
year though.
orange.
burnt,
An orange would be pretty cool too. They haven't done an
a
orange.
gold,
I'm
like
not a big fan of orange, but yeah.
like a reflective, like a iridescent gold.
Like a copper. Yeah.
Yeah,
Wouldn't you do a copper when you did something Banu though?
possibly.
Thinking,
But I mean, like the they did the sort of iridescent purple sort of color for that one year that was really good. Everyone liked that color for the best in show. That's the one that's for the Corsair. I think has that one. That was the Corsair one. So
but unfortunately, none of them will be as cool as the Alien Week paint jobs, like the multicolor iridescent stuff.
Yeah,
they usually factor it, not always, but they factored that a lot of that first purple around the Saulian.
mm-hmm.
So I'm wondering if it's a lot more manufacturer based, is what I'm trying to say. So, you look at the ships coming. You've got RSI, Perseus. You've got the Ironclad, possibly, and this is only the ones we know, right? And then you've got Intrepid variants, potentially, if they even do those. Is there any other ships that you guys can think of that could be potential? You get where I'm going, right? To give you the theme of where they could go.
The Paladin,
and that's a possible one. But they don't tend to like to bring military to AIE because that's what Invictus is for. So
the Pioneer.
That'll be next year, not this year, though, won't it?
Yeah, but I mean, like the Ironclad is not going to be this year either.
No.
So if you're talking about like colors that they're looking at for next year rather than this year, what would they be? It would be maybe next year, maybe a year after that. But like I could see that's probably the biggest.
You still think the Ironclad couldn't come at AIE?
Is
what you're saying?
It could come at AIE this year. Yeah, I think Ironclad and the but I don't think they're gonna.
Why are you guys calling it AIE? It's not
that's
AIE.
my fault. That's my fault. I went to a place called the AIE, and I stuff it up a lot.
IAE, yes.
And I call it AIE because that's what I was used to calling it, and it's actually IAE.
Yeah.
I'm very bad at it.
Yes. You guys have AI on the mind, and then
and I do it to a lot of people, and I've caught other people doing it in other podcasts and other shows and all that, and I was
only doing it because X was saying it, and I was just like, oh yeah, that's that, and then I thought, oh wait, I forgot that X does that. So yeah, but
I have that effect on people.
What I would love to see is a new kind of shader for the paints. Like they try to do something like a metallic flake thing for the 300 series with the blue, but it didn't really turn out that great. I think they need to revisit that. But I would like something like a pearlescent.
What about
like a color shift, but not iridescent sort of thing, but like a more of a deeper look to it.
What about the red to gold they had on the Torchbearer for the Prowler?
I like that.
That's something they haven't done on any other ship. The red to gold.
No. Yeah, that's still using their iridescent shader, but I suppose they could do it like the pearlescent is more like shift.
That would be cool.
Like similar shades of color.
Solomon the Vengeful just said glow in the dark. That would be mad.
So would you glow in space?
You could have pink. Like think of all those glow in the dark neon little sticks you can have. That's a really cool idea, Solomon. I like that a lot.
Really bright.
Think about all the pirate skins you could do.
You know what?
Glow in the dark.
You know what? Screw it. We need bright pink. Absolute like eye searing pink.
Yeah,
like
hot
the
pink. Yeah.
Hot pink is hell. Yeah.
The color of Paul's mankini.
And yes, and then and like a good solid obnoxious yellow, not like a subtle yellow. I mean like a yellow that's just so bright that you just glance at it and you go, it's bright even in the dark. Like in the pitch dark, you see that yellow and it like glows like the fucking sun.
So it's FFFF00.
Yes,
it's like pure red, pure green, no zero blue.
Yeah,
that's your yellow.
Yes. that. The most
we
obnoxious thing
haven't-
you can imagine.
Yeah, we haven't really got a yellow orange and we haven't got a green. They're the real ones that like if you're talking about just primary colors, they're the ones because we kind of got the gold yellow with the black and white that year.
Green
And then-
is like it's like Stellar Fortuna.
St. Patrick's Day. Yeah, Stella Fortuna. And
Yeah.
that's why you don't see it. But it was the same thing with red for a long time. It was Chinese New Year.
Yeah.
But then what they did was that year they did the red and black. So if you put it with another color, that's what I'm saying. So like could you do like a Hurston one? And so it's like yellow and black. Could you do
Black and yellow,
a
black and
green
yellow.
and a green and white or a green and black? You see where I'm going with this?
Yeah.
Or whatever other color
Yeah.
that goes with like again, I guess the Cerulean was a little bit like that with the green and the purple type thing.
I
But
like
you get
the
my point, right?
I like the white and gold. Piss Poor Pete is right. Like I know that they did that well one year, but they could do a like
Yeah,
kind
it
of
was
a,
that,
they
really
could,
popular.
that was already
they could do an they could do an
I have the
ivory
carrot in
and
that.
gold. You know, so
How
anyways.
many space elephants are going to have to die to cover all the ships in ivory? All.
They're
not enough.
As many as needed because they're virtual.
John Cave. Let's move to the next one. John Caves asks, or Chaves, John Chaves, Chives, Chaves.
Have trouble with his name too.
John Chaves asks, should we move to the to a top 32 bracket now that we have more ships instead of top 16? It would take twice as long. Is the problem, and you would also there's an attention economy. For those of you who don't know what that means, it basically means that people, you have to compete with the attention of everything that's going on at the same time. So if something like a basically a glorified poll goes on for too long, people will stop caring, and it's already pretty long. 16 ships matched to head to head, so that's what is that? 8 total election.
Glorified Paul, wasn't that like the Pontifex like 3 generations ago?
Yes. But so you've got it's like eight votes for the first round, and then it's 4 votes for the second round, 2 votes for the third round, and then 1 final vote. So that's
Can you imagine it? Sorry, I was just thinking of the way you're talking. I'm going, can you imagine if they literally made this literal? So all the combat pilots have to get in game, and it's the one with the most kills gets the thing. All the miners get in game, and
Yes.
the top miner gets the thing. Like, you see where I'm going? Like,
yeah.
it'll be a nightmare, but like, it'd be so funny to see people actually like, I'm in my 600i, and I'm going to luxury the shit out of this. You know, like,
Well, just to give you, in terms of each individual day for voting, that's half a month.
yeah.
That's half a month. At 32, you're looking at 30 days of voting. And
Yeah.
it's already gets pretty tedious at 15 days for voting. So 30 days of voting would be not only tedious for CIG, but you probably have an intention drop off dramatically, even as you get to the last couple of them.
I'm going to be honest, they actually have really low retention at the start, like
Yeah.
the first wave. It's only when the skins are involved, people give a shit.
Yeah.
You watch the vote count, it starts out, they're getting higher and higher every year, right?
Mm.
But like if you look at it, the final vote compared to the ones at the start, they're almost like 5 times as many at the end than there is at the beginning.
Yeah. No, it would only take 25% longer. Well, because you'd have so
He is right. It's only 1 extra round, Paul.
divided by
If you go from 32 to 16, from 16 to 8,
to
from
8 to
4 to 2 to 1. Yeah. Your math is really bad.
yes.
It
Yeah,
would-
it's
it would
about
be
it's still about a month. 27 days is
Yeah, it's 100% more votes.
yeah, because it's only 60. You're doubling the number of days, because 16 you go from 32 to 16, so it's 16. Before that, you
Actually,
have
you're
15. It is right.
15%. Yeah, it is 50%.
It's just not
yeah,
30
you're right.
days exactly. It's 27 days. So it's so because the full
You got to remember every 2, because it's all individual votes. Yeah, you're right. It is 50%.
Yeah,
It's
'cause-
not
And
25.
you're adding 16 more days of voting.
Stop getting on to me about math, y'all. I literally just proved all of you I can math.
But Paul, but you didn't get. It's not 50% more. It's 100% more.
It is 100% more.
It's double. Yeah,
but
See, you're still bad at math.
But it's not exactly double, because exactly double would be 30. It's 27 votes, not 30 votes. So
let's be honest, Southern community's not known for math, so we wouldn't be buying these ridiculously expensive spaceships. Come on.
But my point being is that, like, you increase the number of days already, as X was saying, it just the drop off. And this is all about engagement. That's all this is about engagement, which is why instead of increasing the number, what we need is to granularize it down to just the ones that people are actually excited for. Not what CIG thinks people are excited for, but for the actual things that people are excited for.
So the first solution that we came up with is having 4 different
categories.
Not 8. It can't be 8.
Yeah.
It can't be 8 now, because we realized that 32 different votes would be too much. So it has to be 4 categories, 4 entries each. So you maintain a 16 strong bracket.
Yeah.
The other thing that I would like to see, I know CJ will never do this for monetary reasons, but I actually would like to know the color of the skins
beforehand
before we vote.
Yes.
Because, like, if they came out with purple again, everyone would be like, well, let's try and put them on different ships to the year before.
Yeah.
You know? And no offense to the ships that won and stuff like that, but there are, like, the first year's purple skins are far superior to the ones we got last year.
Yeah.
Far superior.
Yeah. I love my iridescent purple Corsair. It's great. And 600i.
Vulture.
And the Vulture.
Yeah. Like they're all, like, it's, and I'm not saying this is a joke, Paul, but it actually is my favorite skin on the Redeemer. It's really good.
No, it is a really good, because it's the alien skin, the alien ship skins, like the Talon skins, but not shit, but on other ships.
Yeah,
that's all it is. So it's great.
That's what I said. Like more stuff like that, but maybe even like shift it to because pearlescent does have shift, but it's like it's not as
it's a subtle shift.
Hard to explain.
It's
not
not
a
drastic
about those
shift.
taints that are like made with flakes? So if I look at it from one angle, it's black. If I look at it from another angle, that would be amazing. Yes,
that's
absolutely.
That's what the Talon uses.
Yeah.
So like the Talon, especially like the Shrike skin, is like purple and then green. And so you can like see the purple to the green as it goes through. I think what Dar's just trying to say,
the whole rainbow. Where you stand, it's a different color.
But
I'm not sure what color I want my ship to be today.
Like,
just walk around.
Something extreme, like from like black to red, or from red to like green. So like you have this huge shift, like this very dramatic one. So
hold on. I found what? Oh yeah, it's from Dip Your Car. Of course, it is Dip Your Car. Because they do black to red.
Yeah, I've seen a few.
Come on.
Ooh, see that?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's the guy. Come on, stop talking. Stop talking. Show the car.
Yeah, he's trying to sell us a watch. Yeah.
Well,
I love how everyone's squinting and looking at their screen.
Yeah.
Well, my preview screen is tiny, so
yeah, and then we're all looking at each other, and they're all looking at us. It's all of us looking like idiots. That's what it is.
Yeah. No, but it's like a more sweeping, slow. Oh yeah, so because from one angle you can look black, but then you change it, but you change to another angle, and it's like a completely dramatically vivid, saturated red.
Yeah.
Instead of just going because
from a muted black, from a black to a muted red.
Yeah.
Let me throw this out there. What if they just made the color black?
That's boring. I'm sorry.
No,
because let me ask them to address the Star Citizen community, because it's all they want is a fucking black skin. You're boring. All right, you're boring as shit. You're basic. Stop asking for black.
But you could do gloss versus matte and stuff like that. Like
it's black.
Be different color.
It's black. Yeah. Black is super fucking boring as a color in terms of like when you got all of these different colors in the spectrum. Just choosing black is boring. Go crazy with it.
You'd be surprised how many people actually black is their favorite color, and I'm one of them.
I know, but that's because you're boring. Because you're basic.
Black.
Sorry, Mr. Fancy Pants in your pants and can't pick your color in your tie. Not my problem.
No, I get it.
Anyway, as I was saying, like iridescent is from one bright color to another bright color, but pearl would go with a lot of like darker, more subdued shades as well. Like I finally found an image. If you want to bring it up, because that is, oh my god, wanted so bad on my car, even though I'm not really fan of red.
I've also seen it done in a similar pearlescent with purple dodge, so purple to black works really well.
Yeah, there we go.
But because
that's not like that's not in shadow. That's just like it goes to black.
Yeah.
But like even with black, you can go with some crazy awesomes, and most people don't really want black when it comes to spaceships. They want good patterns with black in it. You know.
Yeah.
Like if you got a Marpat strat style color with like black and green or black and blue Marpat, which is a camo color over a ship, people would love the shit out of it. But like, it would actually look good. You can see that in some of it. I think the ICTY in Wickelow's thing is a Marpat style. It might be Flectarn, but I think it's Marpat. It's a sort of digital camo sort of like look to it.
Yeah.
And that's blue, but it's blue and black and white, so it's got some nice differentiation in there. So,
in the previous video that we did, I mentioned like because we're talking about vehicles, the Nürburgring 24 Hours. One of the more popular cars, one of the ones that's always a contender for winning, is a Porsche in a Grello color combination, which is bright green and bright yellow camouflage or like shapes on it, and it kind of works.
Yeah,
especially on a race car, it kind of works.
Someone's saying, wasn't the F7A skin similar to, there's a desert Marpat on one of the F7A skins, which looks pretty good. I think the basic one, the one you get, has that sort of look to it. So
oh, that's funny. I want a leopard print now.
Yes,
you know, like
yes. Someone
just said
yes.
Just said that in chat, and I instantly went to leopard skin
for the full Mancini approach. Yeah, let's go for some 70s. Ooh, that looks nice.
That's not bad.
It's
puke
on my cam, but no, it's desaturated on my cam. I would need to change it, but it is bright green, like the brightest green you can have, and then it's not a full yellow, but it's like between green and yellow, but it's also fully saturated, fully bright.
Yeah,
it's like as bright as you can get it as a paint job.
Isn't there a branding game that's along the line of tigers, so you could do like a black orange combo?
No,
isn't there a gun that's? I'm thinking of Tiger Strikes, but maybe I've got my guns mixed up or my games mixed up.
No, there was a tiger. There's like an animal striped weapon skins for the Volt. Yeah, they did that at Invictus. They had that one.
Oh yeah.
All right, let's move on. We've got 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. We have 12 questions left. So, but
I think you should stop the bot.
Yes. Well, I mean, we've only been going for. We've been going for an hour. I thought we've been only going for like 30 minutes, but we spent a lot of time.
We have been going for only. Have we gone for an hour? Oh, geez.
52 minutes. So That's an Insult asks, question: how many millions would CIG make if they released a size 3 or size 4 alien ship, and why don't they? This is an easy answer because X actually kind of talked about this, and I'm sure Darj has had this experience before. They don't make anything bespoke anymore, because if you make something bespoke in a ship, they can't reuse it. So if they're making something, they make it in terms of a kit. So why you see so many human ships is because they had to make a bunch of ships for Squadron and then some other ships for Star Citizen. And then they've been taking those ships and using them as kits to make other things. So the Saber, for instance, is entirely a kit bash of the Vanguard, the Gladius, and I want to say the Avenger. So those are because they had built those 3 ships. That was their test ground for how could they take the kits and make a brand new ship out of it. And they made the Saber. So a lot of ships are kit bashes. And because you don't have any of these kits for aliens, because the only ship that has any sort of alien kit would probably be the Tavaran, I would say. Maybe the Banu, or the not the Banu, the Xi'an, and definitely the Vandal. But
yeah, they're probably building it a little bit with Aurelian when they get around to that.
But
I think the other thing is when you look at the Banu, they're a lot more bespoke. That's why the Banu Matchman's such a difficult ship to build, because it's not going to have a kit because of their organic nature. I think you're going to get that a lot more in the Saulian. I just don't think you're ever going to get it in the Banu. Don't get me started. Piss Poor Pete is forever pulling me up on how I say that shit.
There's no I in there. It's a Sulin.
Yeah. I don't need a girlfriend. I've just got Piss Poor Pete to nag me all the time. I'll be fine.
The thing is with the BMM that I said. Oh, sorry, I've uncovered the light. I just saw it in the cameras throwing off there. Is they lost they lost everyone who had any sort of institutional or like intuitive knowledge on how to do Banu geometry. So they had to completely start teaching people from scratch. And it's not like you just if you had, like Paul said, if you had like a library of existing ships, you could start taking shapes from one and shapes from the other and started blending them together to potentially create new sizes and new shapes in the same design language. But they have the Defender. Yeah. Great name schemes, guys. It's like that's the only thing they have to pull from, and it's a completely wrong shape to start
too
doing,
small.
So there's two factors to answer this question, though. The simple answer to this is the first one you're probably going to get is the Raelian. The second answer is, if you think about the original plan was to essentially move out into expansion packs and build alien races as expansion packs, right? So you would see most of their ships come with their expansion pack.
Yeah.
That's why there are aliens behind the aliens, because you could just forever then be just adding the next expansion pack. So they bring out the Saulian, and one episode is about us in the Saulian. One is just about the Saulian. I'm saying Saulian. I mean to say the Zion. Man. Yeah, the Zion. The Zion. Whatever. So the Zion would be episode 1 would be an internal conflict. The second one could be a conflict with us, and the third one is the alien race beyond them. So it introduces the next race. So if you come right around and get to another expansion pack, you could do them as an alien race, and then the race behind them. You can just see how it all expands out. It makes logical sense. And again, most of their ships would come with their expansion pack. We have a few of them now to give you like a taste tester.
Yeah, you're saying like a single player game, like Squadron 42, but it's its own standalone as that sort of thing.
Yeah. Like
we're back on the attack.
Yeah.
But again, that's why we know that all races have an alien race behind them. Even the Vandals got a race behind them.
Yeah.
So
that's a lot of speculation. Yeah, when
it's been confirmed and not confirmed, though. So
okay.
Stakeroo asks.
We know there's one. Well, again, look, there's one behind the Banu, there's one behind the Zion, and there's lots of strong evidence for one behind the Banu.
What's behind the humans, though? The dolphins.
The Tavaran.
The Tavaran?
Yeah. Stakeroo asks, wait, I'm confused, or says, wait, I'm confused. Then what's the bespoke weapons of the Polaris, Perseus, Idris? And from what I've heard, the Meteor is going to have bespoke weapons. I'm sorry, I might be misunderstanding the term bespoke. So bespoke weapons are different from bespoke ships. So a bespoke weapon is just a weapon which, to be fair, doesn't take that much work. A weapon can take them a couple of weeks. And it's usually like, because like, for instance, the Meteor is not just going to be the Mantis. It's not just going to be the Mantis. There's going to be some custom work they have to do, but they have to they'll take the kit of the Mantis, and they might take the kit from the Scorpius, and then they might add some Scorpius bits in there, and then they'll stretch those out and change those geometry around in white box, and then so basically they're taking like a Scorpius wing and putting it on the ship fuselage, and then stretching out and moving around and making it look like the way it is, but keeping the general shape as it is, and then they'll go back and kind of work that into a shape that they want it to work at. They're not going in and pulling a brand new like object and kind of.
You're not opening a blender and deleting the base cube and starting, from scratch doing geometry. Yeah,
which that just takes more time.
That's sort of
and
bespoke
effort.
shapes we don't want. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's what CIG doesn't do anymore. They try to use these kits, and so they're still custom, but they start from the basis, which speeds up the process. All of these bespoke weapons that you see are gonna get like the Perseus and stuff like that. Guarantee you, they're versions of a ship of a weapon that already exists that they've just added greebles to.
Modified.
Yeah.
That's the short answer. A bespoke weapon is just a weapon that can't be changed on that ship.
Yeah.
So you got the current one in game that would be really easy to recognize is the Ares. It has a size 7 gun, and it can only be put on that ship. But the advantage of that is then they can balance it. So if it has issues, no other ship has it, so that they can build the balance just for that ship. And again, looking at the one that's coming on this Meteor being 2 size 5s, that's similar to what we got on the Guardian with 2 size 5s. So you can kind of assume that this is going to be like a light heavy fighter, because again, they can undergun it or overgun it.
Yeah.
But I think they're going to go lower because of the original price point of the Mantis. So I think it's going to be like an upgunned. I actually think it's going to be more expensive than the Mantis. I don't think it's going to be lower, but I'll be happy to be wrong.
Someone says that they say that CSG doesn't. It's less that CSG doesn't do it anymore. It's just that using kits is easier, so they can do it more. Which is the reason why we don't see a size 2 or size 3 alien ship, because it's hard, and you'd have a team of like 5-6 people working on that for twice as long as that team could be, as that size team could be working on something else. So sorry,
and it's also a little bit metrics too, because if you think about it, the Zion are 4 foot tall, the Banner are like 10 foot tall, and there's all these other little requirements where when you're building different manufacturers that are all human based, it makes a little bit more sense. So if essentially look at it, we've got a taste tester of alien ships, but you're never going to get them fully, especially the Banner. The Banner's law is literally they make the best of anything, and the reason they've done that is so they don't have to make all these bespoke ships.
Yeah.
They've only got to make 3 or 4 of them, and then they're done. The Zion's going to be a little bit different because again, they make ships for us and we make ships for them.
The super secretive. So
you might even see 2 variants. Like we've already kind of heard things about that. Like they make a human variant for the human market because we're like 6 foot tall type of thing, but they're only 4 foot tall, so they might physically have a smaller ship than us.
Mm-hmm.
Because they're small.
You were going to say something? Sorry, I cut you off with that one.
Yeah, I just have a theory that the true original cause for the human-Xi'an conflict was they heard how Execute was pronouncing their names and they just couldn't live down the insult.
Yep,
Yes.
that's it. It's just accent. That's all it is. And yeah, I drop my L's a bit. That's all it is. But yeah.
All right. So next question comes from Cody Fox, who asks, now that CIG has given the Reclaimer PDCs.
Yeah.
What other large ships do you think?
It's capital, Paul.
Yeah, it is. What are the ships do you think should get PDCs? I mean, the argument everyone's been saying is rip some of those guns off of the not the Redeemer, not the Reclaimer, the Retaliator, and replace it with PDCs. I'd also, we know, for instance, the Perseus is going to get a PDC. Because it was supposed to have.
Maybe the smallest ship that's going to have a PDC then.
Phoenix, small ship that has PDC.
Oh yeah, true. Yeah.
We got the same question on our stream yesterday, and my answer would be the less likely is the smaller it goes. So if you've got like a whole bunch on the really big capitals, you go down to the Polaris, you got a couple on there, you go down the Perseus, maybe it's only like 1 or 2, and then you've got exceptions that are not the rule where the Phoenix has got one on it.
Yeah.
I think the Retaliator could have it because the Phoenix does, but you'd only ever like 1, maybe 2 on the Retaliator. That's it. You wouldn't want any more than that. Like 1 on the top, 1 on the bottom.
I would the Carrack could be one of those exceptions because it's not a combat ship.
Yes,
so
it's large. Again, the Perseus is a large, so it'd be in the similar, maybe 4 on the Carrack. Thing.
So we need to release like a PDC kit. You just glue them wherever you want on the existing Carrack kit.
Yes. For your
1-500 Carrack kit. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think many ships should need PDCs. I think people are seeing PDCs as like the because let me put it this way, y'all. A blade is going to be the same as a PDC. Basically, you'll if you get a blade for a turret,
turrets,
and it's probably going to be the manned turrets that you blade. I know a lot of people are like, well, doesn't it make sense for remote turrets? CIG is making all remote turrets being eligible, like usable by the pilot. So So if that's the case, then anything that's manned turret is going to be the one that has to be manually turned into a remote turret. And that's going to not be your control. It's going to be the control of an AI, basically like a PDC will, but probably not as efficient.
It's just an. I fear that a lot of people are just going to see it as a crutch, so they can start soloing bigger ships they're not supposed to solo.
They will, but if you like turn a hammerhead into like bladed turrets, you're going to also have to use power and heat. That'll build up heat, so you'll need to have more management of that.
I wonder how much actual power computers running blades are going to be using up, and if that's going to be like a significant strain on the system.
Probably.
It's really to give capitals another layer, so you got something else you got to strip off before you can get into it. Like they really described that as SysCon. They want the ships to have layers, and you got to pull back the shields, you got to pull back the PDCs. You can't just come in and go hit it with like a torpedo and it's over. Like they want it to take time.
Yeah.
All
right. Next question comes from Solomon the Vengeful, who asks, I'm struggling to think of questions, to be honest. And that's why I'm just stuff.
Hello, Solomon the Vengeful. I mean, that's,
Cody,
I guess they just wanted to say hi.
Well, he does have another question, which is, what ships does Paul want to see in the ship showdown? I've already kind of said that, but what I want to see, what I want to win is the Gladiator. But what I'd like
the Redeemer better get a skin, or he's going to be really mad.
I already have a Redeemer skin from that one year that the Redeemer won, and it's the best.
You always have more.
It's the best one, the best skin for that ship. It's the best skin for all of the ships that it was part of. I think other than the 600i, which has the executive skin, is just baller as shit.
Pretty good.
But
Vulture was pretty good too.
The Vulture was great. It's the Carrack. It's the best. The wrong word. Corsair. The best Corsair skin.
Mm-hmm.
So like, a freaking Aegis has the R names, which are all confused, and Drake has all the C names. Cutter, Carrack, or not Carrack, Cutter, Cutlass, Corsair,
Caterpillar. The
Cuccaneer. Oh God, that's what we should start
Someone's
calling
gonna
it.
Someone's gonna have that as a name.
Oh God.
Yeah. Do you know? I ran into Sandgrober. I don't know if you guys know him. You would have seen him in chats once in a while.
Yeah.
He's actually called Idris the Light Fighter. So you've seen in game, it says Light Fighter. It's like, it's just a Light Fighter. Why does it look like an Idris?
I love that people are being unique. Dell, who's in chat, named his Idris the Shai Halud. But I also would like to see. I want to see the Golem there in the top 4. I want to see the Golem. I want to see the MTC. I want to see the Gladiator, and I want to see the Freelancer.
Maybe we should.
I want to see the Freelancer.
Freelancer.
Yeah, Freelancer's number 1.
We should start picking ships to troll them with that we know that won't sell. So let's pick the Cutlass Steel.
The Cutlass Steel. Oh gosh, the Rock DS.
Just shit we know that won't sell, so they'll make no money out.
The Misk Fortune. Yeah. God, talk about a failure to launch. The 300, not even the 315 and 325, the 300.
Yeah.
The Prowler. Yeah. The Prowler won't sell because it's just out. Its price is ridiculous. The Reliant. The Reliant is another good one to
Everybody keeps forgetting about the Reliant. Yeah.
All right. So Cody Fox asks, if CIG keeps adding all the new goodies as Wickler rewards for the rest of the year, will or should people riot? I don't think people will riot.
No, because we've been asking for years for CIG to put something that can only be earned in the game. So let us have this.
The thing is that the problem is that the problem is that there just isn't enough.
We gave him the shit. We gave him the shits. He's gonna go to the bathroom.
He's back. He just turned his air conditioner on.
That was a quick shit.
All right.
Yeah.
The problem is that the only way you can get a lot of these things is by doing these big PvE, PvP events, which is what people are mad about. They just need to increase the availability of stuff without doing combat and with doing industry stuff.
Yeah.
You need to look at the next event then.
Yeah.
No, and the next event's great. It's all cargo.
The next event is all no. It's all everything. It's going to be, so I'm going to send you this thing made by Mr. Kraken, who's doing these awesome little one-page guides.
Yeah.
And if you can bring this up on screen, I'd highly recommend it because it's worth showing. That essentially you are going to be able to do your planet, so ArcCorp, Hurston, Microtech, Crusader, and get skins for a whole bunch of ships. I do hope they expand this over time and it eventually makes every ship in the game have a skin for your favorite planet. Because it'll then just give you progress to do. You can just go out and do missions for your planet.
Right there.
And you've got something to earn in game. And you can see there, like, if you look at the rewards along the bottom, that's per planet. So you can get a jumpsuit for your planet, a multi-tool, there's a suit of armor. And not to mention, if you go out and do it for all 4 planets, think of all the guns you're going to have in your inventory alone. And again, at the moment, it's just certain select ships, but there is a good selection there of the ships. Mm-hmm. And the skins aren't terrible. You're going to be drawn to your planet. Like, I know Pissball Pete's been arguing there, like, he likes Microtech, and Argrid's already told me he's definitely doing Hurston. And,
of course he is.
And stuff like that. So, and they're not bad skins. Like, I can send you a couple if you want to see them, but they're good, and I think it's a really good way to go. I don't want this to be an event. I want this to be permanent, like Stormbreaker, and they just expand it, because now going out to do those missions that were just rep grind that you would lose and all it was about was money, is you've actually got something to attain. And then if you do buy a new ship and they add that ship to the game, that skin to the game, you've got something to do for that new ship.
Yeah, and it's like it's branding for all of these different ones. And you can do both of them. You don't just have to do one. You can do every single one if you wanted to. If you had the time, you could get one from every single. You could get from Microtech, from Hurston, from Crusader, from ArcCorp. So,
and it covers the main 4 progressions at the moment. You can do salvage, you can do mining, you can do cargo hauling, and you can do combat. It's all in there. You can even do piracy if you want. You can steal other people's shit and sell it the same way miners sell it.
Yeah.
So I wonder if like this event is like something they've been wanting to do from the very start, but it's like just little things in the background that they've been preventing them from actually just enabling it all at once. So they had to go with PvE first, and then with PvP, and then or started with
I think it goes and stuff like that. I think it goes a step further than that, Daj. Like, introducing such a cool concept in the lull period to kind of pump up that lull period. I think it was planned. I think I agree with you.
Someone's saying there's salvage. Yeah, one of them is you go to a derelict ship and take the resources out of the derelict ship and then return it. But you can also salvage the ship. It's just there. Yep. It's a ship, so you can also turn it into RMC if you wanted to. But it's literally pulling ship cargo off of a dead ship. So.
Yeah. And those rewards along the bottom are cargo. So you have to get like 2,822 SCU. Actually
last I checked, it was kind of messed because like it didn't count them as SCU, even though I got like 100 SCU. I was only counted for like 50 SCU of total box, but
but still, it's something to work towards, and I actually think it should be permanent. I really hope they extend that out to include every ship in the game that can get a skin. And then again, if you're just like, they could expand that out quite a lot. I actually reckon it would be really cool if they did that. They may not do it.
Sounds really cool.
But again, if you can take your shipping game and there's something you can earn for it, it makes you want to play it. And if you have multiple ships, that makes you want to do it for every ship that you own. And then all of a sudden, you're encouraging more sales, believe it or not.
Yeah.
Someone will go out and I can buy this because then I'll be able to do the mining missions, and I haven't done those yet. You can see where this goes. It sells itself.
Yeah. I mean, like, just looking at this, I'm thinking, like, which one do I want? And, like, the Hurston Dynamics has the gold aesthetic, which is just mint.
Do you want me to send you the pictures, or have you already got
If you can send me the picture, yeah, I'd be interested.
Now, what do you want? Do you want the pictures of all 9 in each one, or do you just want the Zeus with all 4?
The Zeus with all 4 is fine. That's fine. You can send it one.
Okay. Well, I've only got them as individuals though, so I'm gonna have to send them 4 times.
Okay.
But I will send it.
I will. Let's move on while you're doing that. We'll move on to the next question because we've got a couple more left.
No problem.
We've been doing we're good clipping pace. We only have like 5 questions left. Next question from John Chaves, who asks, over under on this year's skin being purple again. Damn.
Oh God.
Everyone's on that. Probably like. Hopefully, if people actually watch this, they actually take away from don't do fucking purple again. People hated that the last 2 years. But,
yeah. They would have got the message loud and clear. I'm sure.
It the first year.
Yeah, not the second year.
Look at me. I'm purple right now. No, but I'm just saying they loved it the first year, and they were kind of like again on the second year. And if they do it for the third time, there'll be riots in the streets.
I don't mind royal purple, but like, mix it up a little bit. Like red. Yeah. They did red before. Do red again. They've done green. They've done
how about red
before.
Blue?
Yeah,
they haven't done green. Well,
they did green for Day of the Vara and the Stella Fortuna, but
also you should name your cat Stella, so you could go tuna for Stella on Stella Fortuna.
That's a good one. I'll try to convince Can that when we have our next cat.
When you have the cat, you're having the cat. Well, okay.
Yes, I'm giving birth to a cat. No, our oldest cat he's got a lot of health problems, has had so for the last several years, but he's like 11, so he's only a couple years away from.
So you're getting the newer, sexier model. Okay.
Yes. When he passes away, we'll probably end up getting another cat because my wife likes cats.
2955 model.
I sent you everything in chat, by the way, so you can pick what you want there. Everything's there. There's 8 images there.
All right. The next question comes from Icon, who asks, "Are there any ships you don't want to see in the ship showdown?" Carrick.
The ships that we've seen before. So realistically speaking, the ship with the most skins now is the 600i.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's got more than anything else by 1. It's not the Carrick anymore either. The second is actually the MSR. The Carrick's only got 2. So I think the Carrick's been completely taken out of contention. So I'm not worried about that. I still don't quite understand why Origin ships get up so much, and I think it's just because of the lull period. Those hardcore backers really like Origin ships, and that's totally fine. I got no problem with that. But they just seem to be over
represented.
Yeah. Why do I feel like I've gone into a slow-mo?
There you go. Now you're fine.
I was just gonna say, that was a very slow-mo, yeah.
I look at the skins. I don't like the ice cream of Microtech. I do like
that. Pistol Pete will come for you in your sleep.
I mean, it's like a
show us on stream. Show
okay.
on stream.
I'll pull them up so people can see them. But like, let me actually pull them out. Here we go. Here you go, chat. I'm gonna go through these.
That is a very ambulancy skin.
Yeah. And then like that's the Microtech skin. And
the
then
Crusader one's worse. Because remember, this is a CL that you're looking at these on. So when you go to Crusader, you kind of go, oh. Yeah.
Let me see if I can do that a little bit better.
That's Hurston.
That's Hurston, which I like because it's the gold and black, which is pretty cool.
Well, it's yellow, not gold. It's not. It's
a goldish yellow. It's a pea yellow.
They would never give their minions a gold anything. It would have to be yellow.
And then this is the Crusader, which is more blue than the darker blue. I don't mind it too much.
They're too similar, aren't they? The Microtech and the
it's like
yeah.
But then again,
it's worth actually bringing up the one that has all of them because they actually do look different on different ships too. That's the weird thing.
And then this one I actually really like. Dell called this the McDonald's skin, but I kind of like the ArcCorp red and yellow, red, yellow, and black. It's also sort of like an inverse of the or like a kind of a replacement of the Hurston Dynamics. It's just the yellow is more tertiary, and then the black swap with red. So.
Yeah, so if you look at the ones that have all of them, I think ArcCorp and Hurston are probably going to be the 2 most popular of the 4.
Mm-hmm.
I really like the Aurora for Crusader. That's a really nice one.
Well, the one for ArcCorp's really cool too. It's got that. Well, again, pull it up, Paul. I'll show them.
Yeah.
Excuse the white though, because it's a PNG.
Yeah.
So it does that white background stuff. But yeah, there's Hurston.
There's Hurston.
So you can see. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm definitely getting that for the C1.
And then this is the Crusader, which I really like.
Yeah, look at the Aurora. I really like that.
I like the Aurora a lot. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then
look at the Arc Corp one for the Aurora though. I think that's really cool as well.
And then this is the Microtech, which again, it's Microtech. It makes sense, but
well, look at the C1 and the
C1.
Spirit, they almost look like the defaults.
That looks, but it's blue. It's like a nice, like a lighter blue, which is not bad.
So it's a light blue instead of blue. Like
yeah.
Yeah.
And then I like the Art Corp color on that one. Yeah. Even the Freelancer.
It's almost like
all
they got like 3 shades and everyone else only got 2. That's what it kind of feels like with Art Corp.
Because they got yellow, red, and gray, whereas everyone else just kind of got 2, which I think makes it look better. Yeah, I especially like the Mick truck here.
Now that is a proper.
That is a Mick truck.
Yeah. See how it's a different red though to the others?
Yeah, it's dark compared to like the pale.
Like all the others are washed out.
That's a lighting issue.
Yeah, it's probably a lighting issue, but I think they're all probably that same color. Nope. The wrong one.
You have several different shades of red in those. Is that like straight from the files, or are you doing your own renders?
I think it's from the leaks. Pull it out.
That's from Leaks Discord, and they get those images off the when you're in the liveries selection, they're all those little thumbnails. That's what they are.
Right, yeah.
So and then when they can spawn it in game, they take a screenshot themselves. Yeah. So that's why they just got the Zeus and put all 4 on it.
Yeah. So it would be like the reason for that would be because CIG didn't capture the correct. Those skins just look different in every lighting situation you put them on. In deep space, in orbit around a planet when you have the global illumination, or in the atmosphere of any sort of planet, it's just going to look completely different. So buying a skin just because of a screenshot is false.
Well, not buying. It's gameplay.
Sure. No, but going specifically for one particular skin because you liked it in how it looked in a single screenshot, then you'll be chasing those lighting conditions for the rest of your life in game because everything is so different.
Look in chat what they're calling them: the Mick Spirit, the Mick Raft.
I love it.
Just Mick everything.
I love
the
it.
Kirk, like
the McHurk. Yeah, it's.
We need to come up with manufacturers for all 4 of them now. So find real life equivalents, and we'll just meme the shit out of them. It'll be great.
I mean I call it ice cream, but that's the Microtech scheme is just an ice cream skin. It's like a weird, and then
the Microtech, especially on the Zeus, the Microtech, it looks to me like very much very ambulance-y, but I am used to European ambulances. Like they have very completely different liveries to US. White,
Victoria got it. It's
and blue.
Victoria got it. It's the Dairy Queen skin. The Microtech, the Dairy Queen. Yeah.
What's the blue though? Can't think of that.
There is a milk company here as well, but I guess we don't want to do another dairy one.
And
if I said an Australian one, you guys wouldn't know it. So,
I'm trying to think.
What about a tire company? Like one of the tire companies that got blue, like Dunlop or something like that.
I don't know. I know Pirelli's would be black and yellow.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, that works.
Lowe's. Yeah.
Lowe's.
Yes, Lowe's. Microtech or a Crusader being Lowe's.
I like that. That's good. Yeah.
All right. Let's move on to the next question. This is kind of a good one.
This is the local most popular milk brand. So it's got the white and blue.
The oh gosh, what is it here in Texas? There's one Bluebell, which is ice cream. It doesn't do milk, but Bluebell is the same color. It's like blue and white. So
ours is the one here is better, but it's BETTA.
Beta, yeah.
I And then do they advertise like you better get better?
Better buy your milk is what they say.
Yeah, okay.
So 90s asks, when are we getting NPC taxis? Post 1.0.
When what's his face? Bruce Willis retires. Yeah.
Oh, he hasn't already. I mean,
you missed the joke, Josh.
not...
It's just left. It's gone, and it's out the building. No, the Fifth Element.
Fifth Element, yeah.
Oh, right. I thought you meant the actually mentally unwell Bruce Willis.
Yeah, who's currently
starring in a couple of more movies just so he can get some more money for his inheritance for his children.
Yeah, because he's dying. He's got a really bad degenerative.
If you said
disease.
when Corbin Dallas retires, I probably would have gotten it, but my mind went to the actor and his.
I got what he was saying. What we need is what's the one from Total Recall? The
taxi from Total,
the Robo
Taxi.
Yeah,
Robo Taxi.
Oh yeah, with just like a puppet thing. Up front.
We need that.
Oh.
The Chucky doll.
But it's post. It's post 1.0 is because we already know that.
Johnny Cab.
Yeah,
that's right. I got it. Yeah.
Also, we're talking about Total Recall, the good one, not
the good
remake.
One, not the remake. Yeah. Atzilla asks, question, speaking of cats, when are they going to sell in-game pets? 1.0. There's no way they don't get that system in by 1.0. That is a money maker.
I don't want a Copian as a pet. I don't want a Marek as a pet. I want something adorable and cute that I want to lean over and pet.
You know this thing and the other one, the octopus thing. Algrid wants a Copian as a pet for her stuff.
They need
because he sees them as evil, so it's just like let's just make them more evil.
Yeah.
And I'm like, if you know anything about Australia, the Copian is kind of like a Tasmanian tiger.
Yeah,
that extinct creature.
It seems like that was the inspiration.
On so many levels. You can see it works.
Yeah, you can see it in its striping. Yeah,
especially if they bug out and start spinning.
Yeah. We went there.
No.
That's the wrong. That's a Tasmanian devil, not a Tasmanian tiger. But you're close enough. Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Was there actually a Tasmanian devil? Like
Tasmanian devil is still alive. They went through facial cancer over the last decade. It's the tiger that went extinct. Devil's more related, similar to a wombat, but with a tail. But it's a simple way of explaining it. And then the tiger was actually like a really large, almost dog-sized marsupial. So I think a rat that's the size of a dog.
Yeah, but it wasn't actually a dog. It was more like a hyena, right?
Thing.
Yeah, kind of. It has this really weird jaw that can open it's wider than any creature.
Yeah,
it opens up super wide. But yeah, it also, so you know how dogs kind of and horses kind of like trot. It does this thing where its legs go between its legs. So it runs different, which is how a rat runs.
Dogs do that as well. So
some certain breeds do, but like wolves.
In sprinting, the front legs go between the rear legs as they sprint as they.
So again, it's probably a really distant relative to the kangaroo if you think about it. That's probably where it happened because the kangaroos, there are a lot of kangaroos in Australia, and that's how they work. So it's probably a distant relative of the kangaroo, but. How many years was that water separating the mainland Australia?
Yeah.
And down here, we natively had wallabies, but we don't have, and wallabies are also found on the mainland, but we don't have kangaroos here.
So someone says, maybe unpopular opinion, I don't want to run around with Pokemon following everybody. I'm sure you don't want that, but the reality is that I forgot who, I think it was Pirate Software. Who was at Blizzard at the time. I know there's lots of problems with that man, but he did talk about something which I'm sure other people at Blizzard could talk about, which is pets in WoW alone made more money than StarCraft 2. Just the pets made them more money than the entirety of StarCraft 2 when they introduced them. So
hats in Team Fortress 2.
Hats in Team
Fortress 2. Yeah, there are just certain things that gamers will go gaga over, and it's completely unpredictable. Pets you can kind of predict, but who could have predicted hats in Team Fortress 2?
But I mean, that's my point. Is like, see, it may be one of those things where it's like, well, I don't want to see it. It's like CIG wants to make it because they want to make that money. They want to keep them lights on. Yeah. If CIG stops selling ships after 1.0 and sells pets instead, they'd make more money. X and I did an entire video on this. Like CIG doesn't understand impulse buy. They don't understand how people work because they're just their brain broken.
However, they will only be like confident in starting selling pets once the region crisis is solved. Because
yes,
as soon as there's going to be people that will go into full meltdown if you stomp on their kitty.
Yes.
They're not.
But with regen, you can easily argue it's like, oh well, my cat died in my ship during this thing. It's like, no, you didn't. It's regen.
I just don't want another MMO where, you know how traditionally in MMOs the pet just follows you around wherever you go.
Yeah.
I don't want that. I want them with a bit more AI, and they want them like to be in the area, but not just like essentially walk where you walk. I don't. That really annoys me in games where everyone's got a pet walking next to them. I want it to act like a real animal. So if it was a bird, like it flies around and maybe it comes and lands on my shoulder or lands over there because it can land on the tree, you know. And then if it's a dog, maybe it goes over and pisses on the tree, or you know what I mean? Like, it's things that it can interact and live with.
Yeah,
in the
one of the
environment.
first NPCs that I remember doing that was Elizabeth in
BioShock Infinite.
BioShock Infinite. Yeah, she just kept walking around and doing her own shit, and it was like not glued to your abdomen.
Yeah,
like all the other NPCs. That sort of organic movement is totally something or just tell it to sit on your dashboard and wait in the ship.
Yeah. There would have to be some sort of way of managing it, like I said, like Ark. In Ark Survival Evolved and Ascended, they have like where you can like tame the animals, and then you can like set them to different modes to like follow you or to stay around or whatever.
Yeah. But the same thing, if you bring your kitty cat to the Velikar and expect it not to get it absolutely slaughtered and die, and then you lose it, don't be sorry. Yeah. So again, right place, right time. You don't want to see like some really ridiculous creature that they make and it just ruins the entire realism of where you are.
There shouldn't be pets. Shouldn't be weapons. I don't think they should be accessories. You know, you shouldn't have a Copian that can be an attack Copian. Like that's no.
Why not? No. That's where I disagree. Because
I do disagree on that actually.
Because I don't want a Copian to be a pet. There's a difference between pets and animals you can use as weapons.
I don't want them to sell Copians that you can then use as weapons. Is my point.
If you think about it, Paul, there's an entire gameplay loop there where you've got to raise the Copian and train the Copian. You've got to teach the Copian.
But that's not
like that. Could be really cool.
That's a gameplay aspect. What I'm talking about is a sale. I'm talking about a cosmetic, which is pets.
None that you can just buy.
Yeah.
What it should be, if you just buy it and you press the zapper to make it attack people, it could attack you as well.
Yeah, or whatever. It's just not attack at all.
It's a random dice roll. Who's it gonna bite?
All right. The last question we have is from Steve the Dancer, who asks, do you think there will be a ship to mine materials underground?
Yes. They've still said that's a thing.
Yeah, it's the Pioneer.
Well, the Pioneer does it as well, but they essentially the thing that got really confusing was they confirmed it for a couple of years ago. They've confirmed it for the Prospector. Then a couple of months later, they confirmed it was still a thing. Then a couple months after that, they confirmed the Prospector doesn't do it underground anymore. So they've essentially split it. There's now two types of mining: surface mining and underground mining.
Yeah. And underground mining.
And if the Pioneer is going to get that, why wouldn't they give that to another ship as a tester?
Yep. We're going to see it.
I actually, one of the things that came up, you know, the thing I call it the Flappy Bird in the blue silhouette, the Drake-looking ship with the big wings. One of the things we were talking about recently, because me, Grim, and Trispone, we've got this little group chat where we speculate on all this shit together. And one of the things I brought up is, what if that actually lands and it just extracts it out of the ground? Because the way it sits there, it almost looks like an extractor.
Yeah, because it would have to have like sort of surface area that we would attach to the ground where the machinery would then dig in and start extracting. So that's why the Pioneer can do it, because the landing gear is so humongous and it has.
Well, again, look at that ship in the blue. Do you want me to send you the blue silhouette image of it? But again, it's got a very utilitarian.
It looks like a cone almost, like that.
I'll send it through. Me and Grim keep it on hand.
It's the. I'll just say this: it's the weird one in the silhouettes from Citizen Con.
We call it the Flappy Bird because it's so weird.
Yeah.
There you go. There it is. There, Paul. It's come through now.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. The Darge is. I'll pull it up just so you can chat and see.
I know it.
Let me pull this up. Open link. There you go. This is the ship that X is talking about. This one.
Because it does the way it's landed, it doesn't look like it's got separate landing gear for it to perch on. It just looks like it's
a one hop, like a one leg.
Yeah.
Why does it need to land vertical like that? But we just keep like there's so many weird things about that ship that don't make sense, and you've got to try and figure out the reasons for why it does that, other than looking cool. It's the same thing with the Raelian. Like for a long time, if you look at the original concepts of the Raelian, the wings folded up. And that makes a lot of sense, but it was just too much for them to work on because there was too many moving parts. Because you got to do that, then you got to do that. You see what I mean? Like it just becomes a nightmare to work on. So they simplified it, so it's just this now.
I do think that we will see other ships like that because it's such a simple mechanic. Because all it is for those of you who don't know is you're going to scan an area, you're going to land, and at most you'll have some sort of deployable thing which will touch the ground, and when it touches the ground, it will just mine the ground. It's just a sleight of hand.
Well, it'll become virtual because you'll just see it on the hologram.
Yeah,
and you'll see the drill go down to the rock, but there won't actually be a rock underneath there. It'll just be on your little display. It'll all be fake.
You might see like a laser shoot down, but that laser is not actually burn anything.
That's like the one of the very first concepts for the Prospector.
The
laser pointing straight down into the ground.
Yep.
So
that's why we knew it was a thing.
So we're not diggy hole chat. What we're saying is it's like a drill for oil where you go straight down into the ground. You don't actually see the drill, but just pulls stuff out.
So the game will essentially generate a node under the ground that is virtual in the simulation, because we know that that's a thing. And then when you find it, it'll randomly go, right, now how big do I want this to be? It'll randomly generate it. It'll go what materials it is, all that type of thing will all be done at runtime. And then you can essentially just get there. And it might even be a vein, so it could be made of multiple materials.
Yep.
They could do that, and then you essentially can break up it underground. I think if I think of how the gameplay would be, and again, this is me absolutely speculating out my butthole right here, is it'd be essentially breaking it up so you can pull it back up the pinhole, so to speak, because you are going down a shaft.
Yeah.
So how do you break up that entire node and pull it out? Do you somehow have to liquefy it or melt it and then pull it? You get where I'm going, right?
Yeah.
So it's somehow breaking it up so you can pull it out the keyhole.
It's probably like the laser is just going to be transporting sublimating all the ore material to the surface, and then you switch over to extraction. It may actually just create like a pile on the surface, and then you have to extract it.
Absolutely.
And then drill it.
Yeah. Again, that can be fake because it's got to be all above the surface what you see.
Yeah.
You're never going to go down there. You're never going to see what's underneath because it's all just a fake capstone.
As much as the river guy loves his terrain altering grenade launcher, I don't think we'll get terrain manipulation like that.
You might get a bit of deformation on the surface, but it's never going to crack the surface, so to speak.
No.
You're not. It'll be a shader effect, but not actually adjusting the geometry, because then it has to be synced through all the shards, all the clients, and that's data they don't
warped a little bit. Warped a little bit. Yeah. Not permanently changed. Yeah, I'll give you that 100%.
For those of you who've played Helldivers, think about how bug holes just sort of appear, and then they have like a smoke that rises up, and then when when it's done, there's no hole, but there was a hole there because it was just a texture. It was like a sticker basically that they put up there, and then it closed, and you just don't see any difference. It's going to be a sleight of hand thing, but it just allows it because that's how base mining is going to work. It's just extracting from the ground. So
And again, once the Pioneer, if they've got to build that gameplay for the Pioneer, it'd be so why the hell wouldn't they do it for another ship? It's money, makes money. They've sold the Pioneer. Yes, it will sell more Pioneers, but why wouldn't you use that to sell more ships again?
Now, I will say, to use your same logic there, X, I don't think we will see ground mining until after base building's out. Because with base building, it's just a building. It's just a building that does it, so you don't have to worry about it.
Absolutely agree.
And we know that the Pioneer is going to come in after base building's already in, because it's not going to be the start. So they'll build a ship after the base building is done that will utilize that, and they'll release it either at the same time or just before the Pioneer, just like they've been doing with
But again, I would say before the Pioneer, yeah.
These ships were going into production. It doesn't mean they're coming out this year. So they could have already thought of that, and that's what the Flappy Bird is, but it comes out after that.
Yes, exactly. So
that's what the what is? The Thunder Cougar Falcon Bird?
Yes.
I call it the Flappy Bird.
Oh, the Flappy Bird,
Funny. It's just funny name. And what else are you going to call it?
It looks
no
weird.
one knows what it's called. The only other one that I call by name is Trispone came up with a really good name for the Sinu one, which is the Frontier. And I call that the Sinu Frontier. And I reckon we'll get that at CitizenCon because that's where we're getting medium ships.
Yeah. That was the one. That was the other one that we don't know what it is. No, it's pretty much confirmed now. It's Consolid Outland from a few sources. It was at the Beijing CitizenCon. I'm pretty sure that's where they confirmed it. So here, I'll send you that one as well if you want to look at that one.
The Beijing CitizenCon, we also got in like officially in the SCL like a couple of weeks later.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it was like behind the scenes questions type of thing.
I see.
So yeah,
not the actual thing that I recorded.
But again, like anyone that's followed the game for any length of time, you can see that there are traits there that tell you that it's Sinu. The gaps in the little triangles, and then again, like a couple of months later when they showed off the work on the Pioneer, it literally had all the freaking triangles everywhere. The way the lights are around the outside is just like the Nomad. It's even got the back landing leg looks like it's been ripped straight off the Mustang. There's a whole bunch of little cues there that tell you it's.
Oh yeah. And we know that they wouldn't have just built the Pioneer outright. When they're building the Pioneer, they're going to use the kit from the Pioneer to build other ships. So,
well, look at all the things they've said before. We can't just go from one size to another. We have to build all the things in between.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't be surprised if the concept this year is not something between that ship and the fucking Pioneer.
Yeah.
I'm expecting a large Sinu ship this year as the concept. So I think galaxy-sized as the concept, but by Consolid Outland. And we also know that they've worked on other big Consolid Outland ships because of that one that's in Squadron. The one that says like 808 or 505.
Yeah, it's this huge ones. Yeah.
It looks like a massive refinery.
Do you know why it's not the only ship that says 808, but you know why it's 808?
It
looks the same in mirror, so they have like art of it. They can just flip it and it looks the same.
Yeah, absolutely. A lot of ships have A1 on it as well. They do that on a lot of things too. Like a lot of the
A1 doesn't work though.
No, it doesn't. But for some reason, it's on a lot of ships. Like it's on a lot of I think it's like a placeholder texture for names or something. I don't know. Yeah. But it appears on a lot of them as a lot of the Argo ships have it.
All right, y'all. That's the last question for today. Thank you so much for hanging out with us. We managed to keep it pretty short, actually. We only did like an hour and 15 minutes for the first section, and this is only an hour 40 minutes. So make sure to check out Execute myself on the Inforunners. Make sure to check out all of the models at jrdf.sc if you want to get yourself a spaceship model. And make sure
to your choice. Pesta.
What was that?
He loves to be Pesta. No, he doesn't. I said Pestrum. To make them the ship of your choice.
Yes.
That's the ultimate ship showdown.
Yeah.
Is Daj will make your ship if it wins. No, it's okay.
If you can pay me, sure.
Speaking of which, Gladiator. Please vote for the Gladiator. We'll do our best to try to promote the Gladiator. I know that's going to be myself and Execute, me personally, and of course, like the Inforunners in general. So vote for Gladiator. And like always, thoughts down below on anything we talked about. Like the video if you enjoyed this. Subscribe for more content. Hit the bell icon to be notified when these release. We do these live on Saturdays at 4 p.m. or 3 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Eastern, 1 p.m. Pacific, 10 p.m. Central European time, and 6 a.m. AEST. What is that?
Australian and Eastern Standard
Time. There we go.
And it's not even 1:30 in the morning now, so we're early.
Thank you for hanging out. Thank you for watching. And like I say every time, hope to see you someday in the black.